Good morning, Mr. Robinson. And the other 6 that are on right now. I hope we're all doing well this dreary Thursday morning. Good morning, Dunkles. We're kind of a little bit behind the rain curve this year, I think. I can't say that I'm not enjoying the sun, but we do need that rain for fires and farmers and all the good stuff that we like to eat and grow. Good morning, Susie and Alan. I hope you guys are all excited about drive-in church this weekend. We've been doing meetings and tinkering and figuring things out the best that we can. So none of us worked in a drive-in, so it's going to be exciting for all of us, those coming and those participating. So we're looking forward to that on Sunday morning. So hopefully you'll join us for that, and that the rain will cooperate. I didn't look at the report. I thought it was supposed to rain Saturday, but I think Sunday's supposed to be not raining. But we're going to find out. Good morning, Kings. Well, I think we hit that magic number of 9:30. At least that's what my watch says. Oh, so is my phone. So we're going to be in today Numbers 23 and Psalms 64 and 65, mostly in Psalm 65. Actually, that's where the Spirit's kind of been pulling on me. And so if you got your Bible, grab it, and let's begin with the Lord's Prayer. Would you join me? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. So, Numbers 23. I read through that. We're in this story with Balaam and Balak, and as I read through that, I thought, okay, God, what are you saying in there? And the only thing that really kind of jumped out to me was, well, I guess if you don't get what you want the first time, try it again. Maybe he'll say something different the second time, right? Kind of like, if mom doesn't give you what you want, go ask dad, because he probably didn't hear and doesn't want to deal with it, right? And but that not quite the same, because he was talking to God both times, right? And so as I kind of moved into Psalms 64 and read through there, um, just about his desire to be protected from the wicked. And then he ends with rejoicing in the Lord. But then into 65 is what really resonated with me. And as you read down through, let me just read the first 4 verses. Praise is due to you, O God, in Zion, and to you shall vows be performed. O you who hear prayer, to you shall all flesh come. When iniquities prevail against me, you atone for our transgressions. Blessed is the one who you choose and bring near to dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, the holiness of your temple. And the word satisfied really kind of stuck out. And as I kind of read that and again and then started down into the rest of the chapter, we just see how the psalmist recounts God's goodness and his salvation and his strength in the mountains, and how he calms the seas, how he waters the ground, and just the abundance and the pastures overflowing, and the joy that he brings. And as I started to kind of just settle on that idea of satisfied, a lot of things kind of started circling back in my mind. And this week we're working on a garden in our field, and so I've had some alone time raking in the field while the kids are doing school stuff, or while I'm running the rototiller, and you just kind of have to be in your own world because you can't hear anything anyway but the engine going. I reflected back. I don't know. I think it was reflected back to seminary and my time in school. I don't know if it was, I was just kind of pondering the kids and the stuff that they were finishing up as they're pulling things together. But I just remembered walking down the hall and just this kind of the sweetness of it. But then there was also this reflection of like how unsettled I was and how busy I was and how urgent I was just to get things done and kind of move through. Seminary was I'm not a good, I really struggle at learning. My grades were pretty poor in high school. They got a little bit better in college, got better in grad school. Excuse me. But it was hard for me. And so I was studying a lot. And I was also working under unloading tractor trailers in our early morning from like 2 to 7, and then would run back, take a quick shower, and then go to classes. Sometime having to stand up in classes so I could stay awake. But it was one of those pauses where I just thought, man, I missed some opportunities. I missed just resting in the goodness of God, in the midst of that, because I was in such a hurry to do other things or to get through and to finish and to graduate and be done. And I felt like that even as I was working in the field the other day. And the many years that I spent in landscaping, preparing lawns, I had to do a little bit, you got to do a little more work with a garden, right? You got to get the grass out of it. The goal isn't to then plant it with grass, it's to plant it with other things. So whenever you're tilling up ground that already has grass in it, it's a lot more work. And as I began even reflecting a little bit on this psalm and some of the things that God brings, and you think about the rain and the goodness and some of the benefits that brings, but rain also brings a lot of weeds, right? And moss. I'm learning about moss. Like it's a very real thing here, right? And I'm not used to that from where I grew up at, and so I'm learning about that's what it brings. And as I kind of read through this, there was just different things that I realized that even in some of the blessings that there's added work and there's added stuff to it. And if we just get caught up in that, then we miss the goodness of what God's doing and his presence and his grace. And so I looked up the word satisfied, and it said to have one's fill, to have enough, or to fill a need or a want. And I thought about the whole idea um, of just when what kind of signals being satisfied, and oftentimes I go to like eating and get to a point where the food is really good, and I couldn't remember the meal that we had this week. My wife makes great stuff, but we had something, and it was just really it was really good. And I got to the point where I just was full, and it was like I wanted to eat more, but I was good, and the food was good, and I just was able to just pause. Um, and I think sometimes I don't get satisfied in other things in life. Like there's always one more thing to do, or that can be done a little bit better or a different way. And God is inviting me to just pause and to slow down. Kind of like I talked about last week, and how the Israelites were supposed to put cords on their robes so that they would remember, and trying to do some things to remember, just to slow down and to be satisfied. And as I continued to kind of mull over it, um, it's funny. Sometimes I get fixated on a word or a part of a verse, but then whenever I take the time to go back and read the whole verse, um, more things start to pop, right? And as I reread 4, it said, "Blessed is the one you choose and bring near to dwell in your courts." And although I can go back and can look at all the things that God's done, and all the things that could tell me that I'm satisfied, the food, the work, the family, whatever it may be, I think I'm satisfied. God's inviting me to be satisfied because He's chose me. Not nothing else. Just because He's chose me, that I'm blessed because He chose me and brought me near to dwell with Him. And I think whenever I pause long enough to allow that to resonate and to settle in, that the other stuff is a lot more enjoyable, and there's a lot less urgency in me, a lot less of comparing and want and desire, and more of it just a rest and a peace. And so I'm hopeful in that today, and as I grow, that I would learn to walk in that and be more satisfied. And it's been a theme for me lately of this slowing and being to pause, and to live in that satisfaction. And this past week, on Sunday was Mother's Day, and I flipped on my YouTube feed, and a friend had posted, and it was they had lost their daughter a few months ago. It was very sudden and really rough on them. And so there was a lot of people that had been posting to her about, praying for her. And she just responded and had a great response. But at the end of it, she said this. She said, "Today I celebrate what God has given me, not what He's taken away." And I just, I've thought about that all week, and just the reality of God is such a good God, and He gives us lots of great stuff. But the best thing that He gives us is just His presence and just His invitation to be with Him. And so I'm hoping that no matter what I find myself doing today, I've got a list of things I know that I should be doing anyway. But in the midst of it, I just want to be satisfied that I've been chosen, that I've been invited to be with Him, and that's enough. And that's good, because it really is. And so I'm praying that today I live in that, and maybe that's a part that he's inviting you to in the same. But God's inviting me today to be satisfied in the fact that he's picked me, and I'm grateful for that. Would you bow with me, and as we just close our time and pray the Aaronic blessing? The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you his peace. May it be so. Have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday in your car. Take care.